Every morning started the same way for Evelyn Carter. Before coffee, before breakfast, she checked on the Harley she'd spent decades restoring with her own hands. The entire town knew Eve as a quiet, respectful woman who always kept to herself. Very few people knew anything about her remarkable past. Across the neighborhood, the HOA board had found a new target. They believed Evelyn's motorcycle didn't fit the perfect image of the community. A warning notice appeared on Eve's front door. It demanded she remove the motorcycle from public view within 7 days. She read every word without showing anger. Then she folded the letter neatly, smiled to herself, and walked back inside. The Harley wasn't just transportation. It carried memories of thousands of miles, lifelong friendships, and a chapter of her life she never talked about. Late that evening, two strangers quietly entered her driveway. They believed nobody was watching. Within minutes, years of careful restoration were ruined. Chrome was scratched, paint was damaged, and pieces were scattered across the driveway. At sunrise, Eve stepped outside. She didn't shout or panic. She simply studied every inch of the damage in complete silence. The security cameras had captured everything. Eve quietly saved the footage, made one phone call, and said only 5 words. "It's time to come home." The call lasted less than a minute. Eve didn't explain what happened. She simply asked a few old friends to meet her in town by noon. From different states, longtime friends answered her call. They weren't coming for revenge. They were coming to stand beside someone they respected. The motorcycles rolled into town quietly and respectfully. Neighbors stared from their front porches, wondering who these visitors were. The HOA president expected an argument. Instead, he found himself watching dozens of disciplined riders waiting patiently, without causing a single problem. One by one, the riders greeted Eve like family. Their respect for her was obvious, and the town began to realize she had earned it over many years. The sheriff reviewed every second of the security footage. The faces, the vehicle, and the timeline were all perfectly clear. The sheriff asked a simple question. Had anyone on the HOA board encouraged people to teach Eve a lesson during recent meetings? Instead of avoiding Eve, the neighbors came to support her. They understood that damaging someone's property crossed every line of decency. Several professional mechanics volunteered their time. They promised the Harley would be restored to the condition it deserved. As the sun disappeared behind the hills, Eve looked at her friends and smiled. The people responsible still hadn't realized the biggest surprise was yet to come. The investigation moved quickly. The security footage matched a vehicle registered to someone connected to the HOA board, turning a simple act of vandalism into a serious criminal investigation. Confidence disappeared from the boardroom. The members realized their careless decisions had placed the entire association under intense public scrutiny. When given the chance to speak, Eve didn't ask for revenge. She simply reminded everyone that respect for neighbors was stronger than any neighborhood rule. Her friends stood silently behind her. Their presence was intimidating. It was a reminder that loyalty is earned through character, not fear. Days later, the Harley looked even better than before. Every scratch had disappeared, but the lesson behind the damage would never be forgotten. For the first time, the HOA president lowered his pride. Standing before Eve, he admitted the board had judged her without ever knowing her story. Eve accepted the apology without hesitation. Forgiveness, she believed, showed far more strength than holding on to anger. The visiting riders spent the weekend helping the community. They organized a charity fundraiser that brought neighbors together in a way no HOA meeting ever had. As the engines echoed across the open highway, Eve smiled beneath her helmet. Some journeys are measured not in miles, but in the lives they quietly change. The Harley was home again, stronger than ever, just like its owner. In the end, respect defeated prejudice, and an entire neighborhood learned never to judge someone by appearances alone. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more unforgettable HOA stories every week. We'd also love to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments below.